A very good morning to you. You're welcome to the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. My name is Roma Paulson. How are you doing this morning? It's Friday, the 2nd of May, 2025, and in fact is known as International Scurvy Awareness Day. And scurvy is people who lack vitamin C due to their health, due to the food that they eat, the diet and whatnot. And of course, today is just a day for raising awareness for this. And even people who have lived with it, just letting them know that it's okay and you're fine right now. And it's important that you look at your diet. It's important that you take good care of yourself, of your body. So International Scurvy Awareness Day 2025. Anyways, on today's breakfast show, we'll be looking at several hot topics, one of which is Labour demands federal government address worsening economic crisis. Much later in the show, we'll be discussing the fact that NUC has approved 11 private universities, in fact, giving them licenses. We'll also be taking the global stories that has made it to the front pages of our national dailies, as well as some top trending stories. But first, as per usual, let's see our quote of the day. And our quote of the day says, kindness is one thing you can't give away. It always comes back. Kindness is one thing you can't give away. It always comes back. And that's according to George Skolsky. And in fact, this week, I think it was on Tuesday or so, we celebrated Pay It Forward Day. And that's basically what kindness is. Someone is being kind to you. You find a way to be kind to somebody else, and another person would be kind to you. So a lot of times most people are trying to be kind to someone because they want something in return, because they want it to be transactional, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And guess what, if you've even been kind to anybody and they were not kind to you in return, don't worry about it. It's just this cycle of life, and it would come back to you. So the moment you're being kind to someone, the universe obviously recognizes this, and for some weird reason, you would be kind to another person and it will come back to you. And another person would also be kind to you. Another person will also be kind to that other person. So it's important that we try as much as possible to make kindness our watchword, to ensure that, you know, whatever you do, whoever you meet, the connections you're making an impression, and that impression is you are a kind person. That's what we want to see. I mean, we always say that the world will be a better place, and the world we can have a lot of kindness in the world. It would do us a whole lot of good, you know. So it's important that every day, even if it's just a smile that you give to a stranger on the road, in a way that is still kindness. Even if it's, you know, buying a hot cup of coffee for someone, that is kindness. You can actually be in a public transportation and pay for someone's transportation fee, and that is kindness. Pay someone's school fees, whatever the case might be. And honestly, it doesn't always have to be monetary. You can help someone, give them an idea or give them an advice, something. That is what kindness is all about. And like George Skolsky has said, you know, it's not something that you just give away. It will always come back. Random acts of kindness, it would come back to you. And yeah, the world would definitely be a better place if we're all kind to each other. All right, let's move over to our top trending stories this morning. This first one says, government wants diplomatic job scam alert. The federal government has alerted Nigerians about a fraudulent online employment scheme falsely offering jobs in the country's diplomatic missions abroad. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs clarified that it does not directly recruit foreign service officers, as recruitment is handled exclusively by the Federal Civil Service Commission. Ministry spokesperson Kimi Ebienfa emphasized the need to protect citizens from financial loss and safeguards the ministry's reputation. Ebienfa revealed that scammers have sent emails impersonating him, falsely notifying recipients of successful job applications and demanding payment for diplomatic passports. He cited an example where individuals were asked to pay 165,000 naira 800 for a role in the Nigerian embassy in Juba, South Sudan, labeling such messages as fraudulent and baseless. The ministry stressed that all recruitment follows a structured process, including selection by the Federal Civil Service Commission and training at the Foreign Service Academy. Diplomatic and official passports are issued free of charge. Nigerians are urged to ignore such scams and report any suspicious activities to relevant authorities. I mean, it's just so sad that every day you hear of, scam alerts, and people are now getting even more creative. Imagine having to scam with, a government job. And I think, honestly, if anyone is asking you to pay for a job, that is corruption. If we're looking at ways, even if that job was real, in this case, it's not real. Of course, they're trying to scam you. But even if that job was real, it is corruption, and you should not want to be a part of corruption. And it's just so sad because, we've seen the unemployment rate in Nigeria. A lot of people are out of jobs. A lot of people, their businesses are winding down. The economy hasn't been the best in recent times. And everybody's just looking for what they can do, what they can get. And that's the desperation that these people are, using to ensure that they scam them. Imagine having to pay 165,000 naira out of pocket just because you want a job, and you'll do anything to secure that job. And in return, you find out that, you're not just the job, you've actually been scammed of your money. And honestly, if anyone is doing this, please, Nigeria is hard for everybody. I don't think there's a select few who is not facing what the economy is at the moment. Everybody, we're going through it together, and that's not that should not be a leverage for you to say, I want to scam someone else because I'm trying to make money. The way you're trying to make money is also the way I'm trying to make money. Why can't we be honest? Look for an honest way to make money, honest living. That's what we want to see. And, for all the people that have been scammed, honestly, our sympathies to you. But please, when you see things like this, it is important that you verify jobs. In fact, there was the other news that came out last week or so, whereby people are being offered jobs abroad. And then when they go abroad, they're used to do several things. Sometimes they even put them in homes whereby they start to make them scam people. So there are things like this. It's important that anytime you're trying to get a job, verify that job. Ask all the relevant questions that you can ask, because what you're trying to do is ensure that you're protecting yourself, protecting, if not just even your income, but your mental health. Well, like, just because sometimes it feels sad that you want something and you cannot get it, right? You've been scammed by a job, or someone who's posing to give you a job, someone who's posing to give you an opportunity. So to save yourself from all of that mess, it's important that you verify whatever job anyone is offering you at the moment. And hopefully we're looking to get to a place whereby unemployment will not be the order of the day. Everybody will be happy, the economy will be better, will be flourishing, and we'll just see industries rising up and entrepreneurs and businesses having to hand out jobs to people, and hopefully even the government too can do something in creating jobs for people. All right, another top trending story says Kano school in ruins, students struggle. Residents of the Dansarari village in Kano, Gezawa local government area have voiced grave concerns over the deteriorating condition of their primary school. Viral videos showcasing the school's cracked walls, leaking roofs, overcrowded classrooms, and a lack of basic amenities have drawn widespread public criticism. Community members lament these challenges severely hinder effective teaching and learning. The school faces significant security threats due to missing doors, windows, and the absence of perimeter fence. Miscreants reportedly use the premises for criminal activities at night, intensifying safety risk for pupils and staff. Moreover, some classes lack proper roofs, forcing students to study under the scorching sun. The lack of sanitation and drinking water further compounds the plight of students and teachers. Community leaders and residents, including Malam Amadou Sanusi, have appealed to the government and philanthropists for urgent intervention. They stressed that without prompt action, the school's collapse could jeopardize the future of the children in the area, denying them access to quality education. It is so sad that in 2025, we're still seeing pictures like this, we're still hearing reports like this. Every child, should be given the access to quality education. Nigeria records, one of the highest out-of-school children rates. Like, the percentage is quite high in Africa, even in the world as well. And, we're not doing anything about it. What is the budget for education in Nigeria? Why? And I think, honestly, let's forget tertiary institutions and whatnot. The basic education, every child should be able to go to primary school and secondary school. At least if you have that, you can do anything in life. You can, at least you have the basic education. You're illiterate, sort of, right? So if we cannot give our kids that basic education that they need, then what are we doing? And we keep saying that the children are the leaders of tomorrow, but if you're not going to educate them today, how are they going to lead tomorrow? What future are you trying to give them? I mean, it's really unfortunate that, look at a primary school in 2025. For a country that claims to be the giant of Africa, the children cannot study. They don't have proper doors, leaking roofs, the windows are opened. Miscreants are now even using their school, for criminal activities. And if you look at up north, there's the whole Almajiri system. Of course, the population is a lot, but there's so many children that would rather go this way. There's so many, parents that will put their kids in the Almajiri system just to go and beg and bring something back instead of educating these kids. I think the government has a lot to do, when it comes to education. And I understand that maybe a lot of times we don't have as much funds, but if you think about it, the monies that have been taken out from fuel subsidy, there was a reason why they said they were not going to pay fuel subsidy anymore, because they wanted to use those monies for other things, invest in other things. Why are we not investing in the education of our kids? It is imperative that we educate our kids. And I think it's important that even the Minister of Education, I'm wondering what he's doing. Why are you not going round? Because that's your job. You're supposed to be going around ensuring that the schools have, the adequate facility that is needed, the curriculum is right, just looking for ways to ensure that our education system is working. I think it's high time that the government starts to look at these things, because, like I said, the children are the leaders of tomorrow. But if you do not give them that future, if you do not give them the platform to ensure that their tomorrow will be better, then we're really joking in Nigeria. We're really joking, because before you know it, some of these kids, they'll definitely not even be here in this type of classrooms, number one. Number two, when they're not there, what else are they doing? You know how they say the idle mind is the devil's workshop? That means you're allowing them to start to do criminal activities, to engage in criminal activities, because their mind is not put in a place whereby they can be productive for themselves. And honestly, if you educate your kids, you're giving them a pathway to ensure that they can, get away from poverty. They can take out their families from poverty. They have a high chance, to be better citizens for your country. And then, Nigeria would definitely be better, because imagine if almost everybody, let's say 90% of Nigerians are all learned. Everybody's having critical thinking. Everybody's thinking of, what they can do to ensure that this country is better. But guess what? If you're only going to educate your own kids, give your kids the best education, maybe in other countries, fly them abroad and whatnot, these are the children that you've neglected. They would come and take things from you and your family. So what's the best thing to do? Ensure that everybody has the basic necessities of life, and education is one of those basic necessities. All right, our final top trending story this morning says Lagos-Calabar Highway to finish by January 2026. The Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, has announced that the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway construction is on track for completion by January 2026. During an inspection tour, Umahi assured that financial promoters, including Dutch Bank and the Development Bank of Southern Africa, were satisfied with the project's progress, quality, and construction methods. He commended High-Tech Construction Company for its exceptional technical design, particularly the concrete thickness exceeding specifications. Umahi praised the Department of Bridge and Roads and Lagos Controller of Works for their roles in the project. He highlighted the superhighway's robust design, emphasizing the importance of proper entry points like flyover and interchanges to prevent gridlock. He also noted the need for a continuous retaining wall to address concerns about motorists joining the highway improperly. The minister expressed optimism about the project's timely completion and its potential to improve connectivity across regions. The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is a critical infrastructure development that aims to enhance economic activities and ease transportation along Nigeria's coastline. Well, great news. January 2026 might just be the date. Yeah, but permit me to be biased a little bit. For me, I do not think, and I still stand by it. It's great that they're saying, we're working on it. It will be ready pretty soon, get to completion. Fine. But is that really what we need in Nigeria? And like I said, I might just be biased, but I think there's so many other critical sectors that we need to look at. And if we're thinking of works and if we're thinking of transportation, why are we not looking at other means of transportation? Why do we have to keep constructing roads every now and again? And guess what? Even the ones that we have are not being maintained, because one of the issues that we have as a people is our maintenance culture. So was this coastal highway the best thing? If you ask me, what I expected, the Ministry of Works to think about as an alternative means of transportation would be railway. Look at the United Kingdom, for instance, right? Look at England. The railway system is amazing. They have a bus system, right, which is for roads, but there's also the railway system. Do you know how many people, the influx that gets into the train every single day? With the train, you can cargo your goods. There's so many benefits that we can have. But no, it seems like in Nigeria, the only thing that they told us to do after we gained independence was build roads, build roads, build roads, and that's it. Why can't we have a proper railway system? I know there's the one from Ibadan, there's one from Lagos to Ibadan. I know there's the Kaduna one, great. There's the one from Warri to Lokoja, fantastic. But those are really imagine if this coastal highway that is going among 7 states, there was a railway system like that. That would have been fantastic. So for me, I feel like that would have been the best option. But here we are. We're building roads, constructing roads again. Fantastic. How much is this road? Look at the one from South Africa to Cairo. This particular road takes over times 2 of that amount. So there's just a lot of this, construction of the coastal highway, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And I wish there was something else that we were doing aside building the coastal highway. But maybe might change my mind by the time I start applying the road and see that it's good for me and it's better for me. But I think for now I still stand by the fact that we should have looked at something else. But come 2026, hopefully it will be opened, which in Nigeria they give you a date and they never really meet up. So I'm really crossing my fingers to that. I'm really crossing my fingers to see if this coastal highway would be done in 2026. However, another thing to note is, of course, the government, the present administration, the APC administration, come 2027, they would need re-election. So I'm wondering how that's going to play, but we'll see. Anyways, that's it for our top trending stories. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, we'll be looking at the stories that have made it to the front pages of our national dailies. So please stay with us.